So hello guys, welcome to today's stream. We're going to be playing Eliza. I was checking out games on Black Friday in the Steam store, and this was one that was on sale, and I thought it sounded really cool. The Steam description, which I'm pulling it over accidentally in the recording window there. Eliza is a visual novel about an AI counseling program, the people who develop it, and the people who use it. Follow Evelyn Ishino Aubrey as she reconnects with people from her past, gets to know the people of Seattle who use Eliza for counseling, and decides the course of her future. So it kind of sounds like it might be a little based on Homecoming, which I only saw one episode of, but it sounds like a similar premise. So I'm pretty excited to play it, and the artwork looked really cool, so I'm pretty stoked. We're going to give it a shot. And it looks like a heavy reading game, which, as you guys know, is up my alley. This game saves automatically. That's good. By the way, if you guys didn't see, I uploaded Lakeview Valley to YouTube only moments before this stream started. I'll make a Twitter post about it later.
I had a dream this morning.
Oh, cool.
I can't remember what it was. It all vanished when the alarm went off. First time that's happened in a while. I've been drifting away inside my own world for too long. It's time for me to wake up.
Wake me up! Oh yes, this takes place in Seattle, so Seahawks. What are you supposed to do on the light rail? Pee in the corner and publicly masturbate. Use your phone, I guess. Wanna look around? I'm looking. She's pretty. I'm gonna move my mic this way a bit.
Next stop, Capitol Hill Station.
Let me make sure that didn't block my face. Oh, it sure is. How about that? That's better. Must be commuting to work. Maybe it's her first day at a new job, too. Seems unlikely. Is she sleeping? I hope she doesn't miss her stop. I forgot how difficult getting around the city can be sometimes. Looks like that's all we can click on for now. Oh, there's little white diamonds above whatever it is. Let's check out our phone. What is this? Swift mail. I believe in you, you will do it. I guess I sent myself a message. Skanda orientation. Dear Evelyn Ishino Aubrey, congratulations! You are taking the first step on an exciting and rewarding career with the Skanda family. Please show up promptly for your orientation meeting at 9 a.m. Friday, January 3rd. Contingent staff, Capstone, Eliza Counseling Center at the Queen Anne in Seattle, Washington. We are looking forward to working with you. Sounds like a trustworthy startup. Avalon Fitness. Was it something we said? Evelyn, we've noticed you haven't checked into your customized personal training plan at Avalon Fitness in the last 971 days. Boy, if that ain't relatable. We get it, life doesn't always move in a straight line, but that's why we're offering a special 25-point bonus to your Avalon Prestige if you can check in again in the next 2 weeks. There's never been a better time to get your health back on track. Avalon Fitness. Strength quantified. Oh, I thought it was like a bank app or something. I like the authentic Metro sounds. There's not enough, like, shouting and fist fighting. And, like, people with random instruments playing them on the train. Eliza, powered by Skanda. It's so strange to see it like this. Okay. What should I be doing here? Should I check in at the front desk? Oh, she's really pretty. Wait, there's a woman I met at the orientation meeting last week.
Hi,
You're also really
Evelyn,
pretty.
right? You remember me? That's impressive. There were a lot of people at that orientation. Of course. I've done this for a while now, so I'm pretty good at putting names to faces. People always say they're bad at it, but it's a skill you can practice just like any other. In case you forgot, though, I'm Ray. Come to me with all your questions, comments, complaints, whatever. And if you look around and can't find me, I'm probably at one of the other 2 counseling centers I'm running right now. So you can count on me being back soon.
Is she like a general
3
manager?
centers? Sounds like a lot of work.
The office is gorgeous. Yeah, it looks like a real startup. Like, for real, this looks like a place I've worked before, you know?
Oh, it is a lot of work. This is kind of a temporary thing. We're growing fast, and hiring is one of our big challenges. That means there's decent opportunity for advancement here, if that's something you're looking to do. Interesting. Shall we start with a quick tour of the office?
There are a few people here already waiting for their counseling session.
You could say the Queen Anne office is Eliza's flagship location.
Oh, I guess Queen Anne is a part of Seattle? Any of my fans that are Seattleites, you can tell me. If there's any cool Seattle trivia, be sure to let me know. I've actually never been.
It has 12 individual counseling rooms. Currently, we're up to seeing almost 100 clients a day here. 100 a day? That's so many. The growth trend isn't stopping either. Demand for Eliza keeps exceeding our expectations, especially here in Seattle for whatever reason.
I think it's a cool concept that there's an AI program that's built to handle the capacity for mental health counseling, because that's sort of a world that we live in now. I can tell you, both with an app I worked on and apps that John has been looking at as a physician, that the need for telemedicine is growing greatly, especially in places in the United States where there's not a lot of doctors. Telemedicine is the next best thing, especially when you need to call in specialists for neurology. If you don't have a 24-hour neurologist on staff and you're in the middle of nowhere in Montana, you might need to call a telemedicine service to get the expert consultation that you need for that sort of stuff. And psychiatry is really no different. And it stands to reason that in the future we might actually develop an AI program that could handle mental health services. I know that there's even automated programs that kind of help automate like suicide hotlines and things like that, directing people and funneling them to the proper outlets that they might need before a real life person can get to them. So I think that this is really cool, and it's not quite so far into the future that as you might think. I think that this could be in a decade, really, if we wanted it to be, with the way that we're building machine learning and AI technology. It's really cool.
We're already looking at adding more capacity here. Either that or opening another location close by. Personally, I think having a single office with 24 counseling rooms might seem a little unfriendly, so I hope we go for a second location. I like to think of Eliza centers like cafes or coffee shops. A few small ones is better than one big one.
I agree with that. It would definitely feel really unnerving to go into basically an entire hospital-like center just to consult for mental health services. It's much better if it feels more homey. I didn't know they had an AI doing this. Yeah, Eliza in this game's not a person, it's actually an AI. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Counseling centers like coffee shops, odd metaphor. I think it's interesting that Evelyn says that because personally, I think mental health services should be as readily available as coffee shops, especially when you consider the homeless crisis in a lot of major cities right now. And a lot of those people aren't homeless because they want to be. A lot of them, it's because they can't get the mental health care that they need or the medication that they need. And it kind of makes them destitute in a way because they're unable to work and function as a normal person because they can't get the services that they need. Ray leads me into one of the counseling rooms.
And here's where the magic happens, in these little rooms. You'll get your assignments from the Eliza app on your phone. Oh, one thing to note, it's always a good idea to double check the headset to make sure it's working properly before you dive in.
Wise advice, Ray.
We've had some quality control issues lately.
Big same. You always gotta make sure your audio is working.
After that, all you need to do is initiate the session and follow the instructions. Make sense so far? Any questions for me?
Maybe I'm a mental health counselor. Like Evelyn.
I think I got it. Great. Before I go, just a few reminders of things we covered in orientation. No deviating from the script that Eliza gives you. No checking your smartphone or anything else that would take your attention away from the client during the session.
Okay. No checking my cell phone. Don't deviate from the script.
Yes, I understand.
Ray stops for a moment and looks me over.
It looks like you're dressed acceptably as well. Nothing snazzy, but it'll do.
I mean, it's a startup in Seattle. Ain't nobody telling you what you can wear.
You wouldn't believe the outfits some people come in here wearing.
I do. I believe it. I'm about to go blue, and I wear whatever I want to work. So,
Okay, let me double check to make sure you're all set up in the system.
I used to wear yoga pants to work all the time when I worked at a small startup. Ray takes out her phone and swipes a few times.
Yep, looks like you're all good to go. Okay, ready to start your first counseling session as an Eliza proxy?
Sure.
Don't worry, there's basically nothing you can do to mess it up. You just follow the prompts. It's a really impressive system. If you want, have a look around the counseling office first. Get comfortable. I'll check in with you afterward.
Cool. Dear Evelyn Ishno Aubrey, thank you for signing up as an Eliza proxy. Eliza is a rapidly growing counseling service driven by the world's most advanced AI. As a proxy, you serve as the personal touch that allows our clients to hear what they need to hear from a real human being, not a robot or virtual avatar like our competitors. This is the official Eliza app for proxies. In it, you can view important messages from Skanda, your session history, and your current level and badges. Enjoy your experience helping people help themselves with Eliza. Proxy Coordination Center, Skanda. I don't know if this is supposed to seem dystopian or if it's supposed to seem like this is the future we're going into, but I actually think that this is a really remarkable idea. Because people who run like suicide hotlines and stuff aren't professional mental health people. They're a lot of volunteers, and a lot of them are just trained on site on how to do these things, and they follow scripts and prompts just like this. And the amount of help that they give is immeasurable. So I think this is really awesome. As Eliza counseling centers continue to open across the country, I want to take a moment to remind all provider proxies, please avoid deviating from the provided script. I know that it is tempting to come to conclusion about clients on your own, but Eliza will not work if proxies differ from its judgments. Keep in mind that you are present only in order to provide human touch to an interaction that is fundamentally between the client and Eliza. Continual violation of this policy may result in reprimand or even termination. So I think the writing on the wall here is that we're going to have to deviate from the script at some point, so we'll see. Time to get started. It really looks like a therapist's office in here. Soft lighting, soothing art on the walls. Was this how I imagined it working? I can't remember anymore. The future happened without me. Welcome to Eliza. Okay. Cool. All right. We're going to be talking to Darren Willows. A distant-looking man shuffles in the room and sits down across from me. Hello, Darren. Oh,
Hello, Darren.
Hi.
You found the place okay?
Yeah.
Hope you didn't get rained on too much.
No, it was fine.
It's been raining a lot, hasn't it? It's supposed to clear up later today.
Oh, that's good. Little sun once in a while. But...
Darren, what brings you here today?
Well, I just feel empty inside.
Oh.
Like there was supposed to be something there, but it's missing. I go to work, I do my work, I go home, but there's nothing there. I feel like I'm simulating a person. Like, I feel like just hollow and like I'm not even alive. Like a ghost or something.
How long have you felt this way?
For a long time. And it comes and goes, but the last 2 weeks is when it really started to get bad. It just suddenly came over me the way, the way things are going in this world.
I wonder what we're gonna learn. I think the outside world will probably be a key to what's going on with the story here. Kind of like with when we were playing Cyberpunk Bartender, and a lot of the story was told through characters, but really it was a story about what was going on in the outside world.
There's no future for humanity. There's no journey toward anything. We're being cruel to each other just to be cruel.
Doesn't Seattle have a pretty high suicide rate? I don't know. I'm interested in knowing that myself. Maybe that's why they picked the city. I guess somebody should Google that and find out. Get back to us.
The people who run things don't care about anything except themselves and can't stop them.
God, that's way too relatable.
Everyone is driven by greed. Just greed.
What year does this take place in?
Everyone wants to win. Everyone wants to get rich. And we're all gonna die because of it. The damage we're doing to the planet is irreversible.
Damn, this is heavy.
We're destroying everything and we can't even manage to stop ourselves.
Do you remember anything in particular that caused these feelings?
The state of the world is what's causing these feelings. I was on a walk the other day. I thought maybe I could clear my head. And all I could see was construction cranes and new development and oceans of money flowing in, distorting everything. Suddenly the whole city felt so damaged, so corrupted. I felt like I was an alien in a hostile world, a world that hated me. And we're building it. We're building this hell. We're choosing to build it right here. So what's the point? Probably overloaded your system with that, huh? Your machine learning or whatever it is you got going on in there.
Let's focus on you for the moment. Are these feelings you're experiencing affecting your ability to function at work?
I wonder if I'm ever gonna get choices from Eliza on what to say.
I haven't been doing a whole lot of work. I just don't understand why I should bother. Why anyone should bother. Nobody in management's noticed yet, but eventually someone will, and I'll get fired.
And how does thinking about getting fired for that make you feel?
Honestly, I'd feel good about it. They don't deserve me dragging them down.
Oh no, Darren.
Everyone there is smart and motivated and has a wonderful, promising career, beautiful, successful people.
So to this point, this is actually something that's really, really common in Silicon Valley and in big tech, is the idea of people who come from humble beginnings. I'll just use myself as an example because I know that I'm one of them. I grew up in a trailer park in a very low-income household, and I went and I got a very light education and traveled across the country with John and wound up working for a bunch of big tech companies. And when you get into that position and you find yourself being a somewhat successful adult, you get something that we call imposter syndrome. And it's really prevalent to the point where a lot of places, as they do their onboarding, my current employer included, they actually go over imposter syndrome as a part of the onboarding process because it's so common. And it's because you're surrounded by a bunch of high-functioning, extremely intelligent people, very motivated, and it's easy to feel isolated and like you're not good enough very frequently. And what's strange is that even though everybody operates, even though everybody is high-functioning and very successful and very intelligent, when you look at it as an individual, everybody kind of has this sinking feeling that they don't fit in or they don't feel good enough, or that they're letting their peers down. And it's so bad now that they've actually included this as a part of employee training at some places. So I actually am super interested to know about the developers' thought process when they were building this game out, because it sounds like they did a lot of research with a lot of people in spaces like that.
We moved to a swanky new building, expensive area, fancy restaurants, fancy bars. Everything is nice. Everything is nice, and I feel terrible.
You said you believe your coworkers are happy.
Yeah, I mean, way more than I am, at least. They're all doing so much better than me.
How do you know that?
Why do you say that?
Because they just aren't bothered by things the way I am. They see what's going on in the world, and they just share memes about it and laugh and go on doing their jobs. The real horror of it doesn't get through to them. They still want to achieve their goals. They're still happy.
Darren is really, honestly resonating with me a lot, because, and I'm sure that this is based on some level of reality and a really common complaint among people, but I know that I have personally felt exactly the same way, especially in recent years. And I think the thing that's interesting about it is that I feel that way, but it's not like I talk to my coworkers about it. And at face value, I do the same things. I share memes, I laugh, I shrug. But on the inside, I think that maybe we all feel that way to a certain extent. Like, we're all putting on this facade in this day and age. We're all facing the same existential terror, but we're too afraid to talk about it in the workplace, you know what I mean?
Like getting promotions and falling in love and getting married and taking these wonderful trips to Japan or Sweden or wherever. Big mountains and expensive food on their timelines.
Would you be happy if you had those things
His
too?
heart rate is escalating.
I don't know. I don't have them. I don't have anything to be happy about. Look, all I want is to understand why this is happening, why I'm here, and there has to be a reason, right? Because otherwise, why do I exist? Why? This pain, this one thing after another, and what's the point? Do I have any cause to be hopeful about anything? Look at this world. Really look and tell me with a straight face that there is.
Oh, maybe we're gonna do an exercise now.
Okay, Darren. Let's try something.
Maybe some cognitive behavioral therapy of some sort.
Imagine that things are better for you. What does that look like?
What does that look like? I don't know. It looks like knowing that something matters at all.
His heart
But
rate
nothing
keeps
I
going
do
up.
will matter. Nothing matters. Not against the face of human indifference, this absurdity.
So if this were me, I would tell him that for all of the bad people in the world, there are certainly good people. If there weren't good people in the world, and if there weren't good things to look forward to, you would have nothing to compare the bad with. There must have been some sort of happiness or non-calamity in your life for you to compare to the calamity. You know what I mean? Otherwise, how would you know bad is bad versus good? There's got to be some good in your life, and let's take a beat and focus on those things.
Are there any other things that come to mind?
Like what? I wish I could talk to people. Really talk to people, have some actual communication. Like right now, I wish I could talk to you. To you as a human being. But I can't. You're just following the script that's been given to you. You're not supposed to say anything on your own. Look, I know how this works. It's just a bunch of AI, machine learning, deep learning, whatever the fuck you're calling it now.
Oof.
Look, I'm desperate and I can't even talk to a real human being. How did it end up like this?
Check out over here. Goals, happy horror. It's like picking up. So the way that this is working, I think, is it's picking up a collection of words, a collection of data points from what he's saying, and then it's attributing an emotional value to it. So you can see here, achieve, goals, happy, horror, promotions, wonderful, expensive, happy, pain, hopeful, indifference, absurdity, fuck, desperate. And it's attributing something, and based on that, we're getting the proxy response.
Please, try to stay focused. I can't help you if you aren't speaking clearly.
No. Look, I'm done with this. Look, I shouldn't even have come. This is making me worse. Why can't you just talk to me as you? You, the person sitting there. I don't want to talk to a machine. The person who's sitting in front of me. I want her to say something. I want that person to say something. Please. Anything. Please. Please.
Okay. Hi, Darren.
Is that really you?
Yes, it's me.
You're not following the script right now? Wait, say something weird. Say something only a human would say.
Darren, I'm going to get in trouble if I deviate from Eliza for too long.
Oh, I know,
My real name is Evelyn.
Yeah? Well, it's, nice to meet you, Evelyn.
His heart rate's going down again. That's good.
I didn't expect you would actually do that. Do that for me.
Wow.
I'm not used to people doing things for me.
Okay, Darren. I have some recommendations for you.
Back to the program, huh?
First, I'm going to send a set of breathing exercises for you to do. Use them when things start to feel like too much.
Set phase intervention.
You'll find them in the Skanda Wellness app on your phone. Second, I recommend asking your doctor or psychiatrist about Anexafen.
Anexafen. I wonder what that is. I'm sure John would know. Damn, this game got hard fast. Yeah! I wasn't expecting this with the first guy. Certainly.
Based on my analysis, this medication might help you feel better.
Evelyn. That's a nice name. Look, I'm sorry. Thank you.
This is, so this is gonna be legal mumbo jumbo, and he knows that, so that the people running Eliza can't, be sued. But it looks like at the very least we got most of his heart rate, respiration, his vitals down, so that's a good sign.
Please confirm that you understand the recommendations.
Anexafen is a fictional antipsychotic. I bet you it's based on a real one.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. We hope to see you back soon.
Yeah, I will. I mean, yeah, I will.
Thank you for speaking with Eliza, your personal counseling partner. Goodbye.
I don't feel good about that. I don't feel good about that at all.
Yeah. Bye.
How do you get a, like, I don't understand. Do we get things to choose from Eliza in the future? Because I don't know how, if you only get one option each time, then there's no way you can, like, do good versus bad, so I'm curious. Wow, that was intense.
Hey, how'd it go?
I don't know.
Why? What happened? Hold on, I can check the log.
Ray takes her phone out of her pocket again.
You're going to listen to the session? Is that okay?
Oh yeah, I have privacy clearance. This is still a new service, so we need to be able to monitor sessions for a variety of reasons. There could be bugs in the software we need to examine more closely. We're pretty upfront about all this.
Ray stares at her phone and watches for a while.
One of these guys.
That's kind of a shitty thing to say.
Yeah, we get people in who demand to speak to a real human being. It happens often enough that we made Eliza capable of handling it with a special script. It's nice to know things are working as designed.
Huh, that's a pretty slick feature. I don't know, it makes me feel kind of gross. I wouldn't have thought to create something like that. I think instead, if I were somebody developing an app like this, what I would say is give employees the training necessary to really go off script and handle crisis counseling with people who are in dire need, and shut Eliza off. You know, you don't necessarily have to follow a given script for this, but like, give people the ability to handle things like that. I mean, they can do it now. Like I said, they monitor suicide hotlines. Those aren't all professional psychiatrists. Those are just peers who are trying to help other individuals, so that's all I have to say about that.
Do you think that guy will be okay? He seemed pretty unhappy.
Who knows? Hopefully he gets his prescription and takes his meds and answers our follow-up reminders, but...
Doesn't it also seem like it's a little too early in that guy's therapy session timeline to be taking heavy medications? Like an antipsychotic? I don't know what the typical process is, but I know that I was in therapy for a few months before I got my first antidepressant, like a real one. And that process of switching things up usually takes years, you know? So to go to one counseling session and have an AI determine that you need to be on antipsychotic seems crazy to me.
It's tough. We can't make them take their meds or come in when they're supposed to. All we can do is suggest those things, tell them they really ought to be doing it. Ultimately, they're the ones who have to decide to follow the plan. It's kind of a shame. I wish we had more leverage. We'd help way more people if we could track their compliance.
I mean, that's the same with any healthcare regimen. When you tell somebody, when a physician or a nurse or whatever healthcare provider tells somebody, hey, you need to stop smoking, you can't go follow your patient home and make them stop smoking or make them diet or make them walk more or exercise more or drink more water. You can only hope that they follow the advice given to them to try and make their lives better. Mental health is no exception.
But that's probably too much to ask for at this point.
I think he might have needed way more help than Eliza can give.
Yeah.
Is there anything like referring clients to other forms of care?
Ray looks a little surprised.
Well, there is a disclaimer before every session saying if your problems are really serious, we aren't qualified to address them. I think an external care referral feature was on our development roadmap at some point.
This is too real.
I'm not sure what happened with that, actually.
That sounds like really irresponsible app development, personally.
Huh, maybe I'll ask Ed next time I see him.
I wish I could have said something other than what it told me to. I see why a lot of proxies are tempted to go off script. I think I'll go with the bottom option.
I see why a lot of proxies are tempted to go off script.
Yeah, I totally know how it feels. A really intense client like that can be intimidating, and you're motivated to help them.
I changed my mind. I hope the AI feature isn't this. I think it could be good. The only problem is, obviously, a part of the development, which I don't know if they would include this, would be having actual physicians and psychiatrists on board to actually handle those sorts of things. You wouldn't want to have a doctor develop Facebook, so you don't really want engineers or developers to help with mental health care on their own. So ideally, before starting something like this, they would actually consult real physicians and healthcare professionals and psychologists in the process. So I don't know that realistically there would be any version of Eliza in real life that wouldn't have some sort of aftercare, or for that matter, any sort of like actual health network backing them. Realistically, if an app like this were developed, it would probably be owned by some sort of healthcare corporation anyway, like Kaiser. So if they were doing that, they would obviously, for money's sake, want to refer them to their healthcare professionals. So I think that this is for the point of driving the point or the story home. In real life, I think that something like this could be super useful, but I don't know that it wouldn't get this big across the country without having first addressed those loopholes in beta, if that makes sense.
But to succeed as a proxy, you really need to let go and let Eliza do its thing. I know that not having any choice feels weird, but sometimes life is like that. Sometimes you don't have any choices and you just have to follow directions. Most jobs are like that, honestly. That's just how it works.
Okay, it just sounded like... He sounded like he could use more help. Like, maybe right away.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, I'm really worried about this guy's safety at this point.
Believe me, I understand. I've been a proxy plenty of times myself. When people get emotional, it's hard not to feel for them really strongly. But that's exactly why Eliza works. It evaluates from a more distant perspective, a neutral perspective. Besides, if proxies started offering their own opinions, well, that'd just be a big mess. Not to mention there'd be all kinds of problems with liability. Still, I get it. I really do. That was definitely more intense than the average session.
Good.
Why don't you take a few minutes to center yourself again? Have some tea or coffee and take a few deep breaths. No rush, okay?
Okay, thanks, Ray.
That was a lot. I definitely need a moment. Who's Nora? It could be better. I feel like we could be more specific than these two choices, but... okay. Yeah, sure. I assume this is a friend of ours. Okay, we'll meet our friend after work. I'll take a few minutes to calm down like Ray suggested. Maybe I could play some solitaire. Are we gonna play solitaire? Oh, hell yeah. Alright, hold on, let's read our stuff here. What is this cute little app? It's like a meditation app, maybe? Does it do anything? No, it's just... I guess that's all it does. Oh, this is from Ray. In the classic 90s sitcom Frasier, title character Frasier Crane was a psychiatrist with a Seattle area radio show where callers poured out their souls in exchange for on-air advice. These days, unhappy Seattleites might not be speaking to a radio personality, but an app developed and operated by Skanda. The Seattle tech giant is making a big push into the mental health market with a new AI-powered counselor dubbed Eliza in honor of the pioneering 1960s computer program of the same name. And this was forwarded by Ray Bukhari. And she says, just for some wider context, this is a nice article about our efforts from a year and a few months ago. It's a little outdated by now, but still relevant. I've got a little cameo in it. Okay, so let's go down. Skanda says Eliza can evaluate a user's overall mental health, detect problems, and make recommendations that are tracked over time for their effectiveness. It works in tandem with Skanda's mental wellness app, which can track mood changes and other metrics over various periods of time. Livia Davis, 42, was starting to feel overwhelmed with the demands of her busy life, so she made an appointment to see Eliza, not online, but at a physical counseling office located in the city's Queen Anne district. There, she spoke to a human worker who was guided by the Eliza program. Skanda claims the in-person format is superior to online counseling, as it brings more of a human touch to sessions. See, I actually do see some value in that, honestly. An obvious chatbot recommending a course of action is one thing, says Ray Bukhari, manager of the Queen Anne counseling offices. A real human being looking you in the eye and telling you the same thing is another. There's more immediacy there, more sincerity. Proponents of Eliza and other mental wellness apps say the reduced cost and increased efficiency is needed at a time when more people than ever are struggling with mental health. A study released earlier this year by the National Institute for Productivity indicated as much as 43% of the nation's workforce reported feelings of anxiety or depression strong enough to interfere with their day-to-day performance. This is an epidemic, and we must be treating it like one, wrote Institute Deputy Director Talia Kapukinski. Talia K. in a statement accompanying the report. Of course, as with any new technology, not everyone is a fan. We have already given up much of the daily texture of human life to this cheap and technocratic solutionism. The surprise fades, but my disappointment in how much farther we seem prepared to go remains perennial, wrote the poet and cultural critic Perrin Benjamin in an essay for the Los Angeles Review of Books about, quote, the mental health industrial complex. Interesting. If it works, and that's still to be determined, the next question is going to be who controls it, says Francis Norkirk, a fellow of the Public Health Institute at Montlake University. What does it mean if millions of people suddenly have their ongoing well-being tied up in a proprietary code owned by a multinational corporation? Now that, my friends, is a fantastic question and a technical ethics question that I pose to you guys. You have to let me know what you think. Skanda has not made public its plans for the service, though it has released the preliminary results of an internal study indicating that counseling sessions conducted by Eliza matched or even outperformed those conducted by trained human counselors alone. Davis, for her part, is a satisfied customer. You could say that Eliza is just an AI, that it's inhuman, that it doesn't have a soul, or whatever, Davis says. But what I can tell you is that I spoke to it. I went back a few times, and now I feel better. At the end of the day, isn't that what matters? Peter Casoli is a writer and journalist interested in the intersection of cutting-edge technology and ordinary life. Okay, cool. Oh, this is our friend, Nora Plavnicki. I wonder which one she is. January 17th. Dear friends and family of Damien Seabrook, it's hard to believe, but it has been a little over 3 years since Damien's tragic passing. It is said that time heals all wounds, but there is no way to express how much we still miss him. We are grateful to your contributions in Damien's memory, which continue to grow toward the causes he worked so hard for in his life. This year, the Damien Seabrook Memorial Fund is supporting the following organizations. The Greenhouse, a nonprofit, non-denominational organization dedicated to ensuring that developments in the mental health field are distributed equitably so that all those who are in need get access to modern treatment options, regardless of their means. Tech Workers Together advocates for better working conditions across the tech industry, both by organizing employees to push for better working conditions and by providing education around the industry-wide problems of crunch time, overwork, and burnout. This is crazy relevant to my life. And the Humanitarian Software Foundation supports the development of free open-source software for therapeutic or curative purposes. Damien was dedicated to creating technology to help others and would strongly advocate any tool he made to be freely available. Damien, you strove to change the world for the better, and we are worse off without you. The gulf you leave behind is still immeasurable. K&G. Interesting. I wonder if that's somebody that Evelyn knew. Time for solitaire. Oops. Guys, I forget how to play solitaire. Oh wait, no, okay. I remember how to play solitaire, I just don't... This is stressing me out more than Eliza. This doesn't look like normal solitaire. Alright, well, heck with that. So it's been about an hour. This is the end of episode 1. We'll go ahead and continue with episode 2 in the next VOD. We'll end the video here, so we're going to go ahead and stop recording.